Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Kg4muk, or Outdoors with Kg4muk. It's just been a really chaotic month here. I want to make sure that I've got this camera set up because I have not did this in a while. It has been quite a while since I've been doing this, and I'm gonna try to silence some of this stuff. Um. Anyway, I have been trying to take care of some things. I'll turn this down a little bit more. Been relatively busy here for the last month. Um, haven't been able to do any live videos, and that's strictly because we had to take time off from work and we had to basically go through some things that took us away from the ham radio thing for quite a while. I think I might have made one fishing video, and it was pieced together with some of the other stuff that had been going on, and I really didn't get to do anything that much. Um, but just to give you an update on what has happened in the last, well, in the last 2 or 3 months, we've been relatively busy with things that's been happening and leading up to what's happening. And I just did not want to take the time to make any YouTube videos. And the whole reasons why is my wife had to have open heart surgery. There was a little bitty complication and it got fixed, it got better, and then it kind of went a little sideways a little bit and got bad, and then it went back this way and that away. We went home. Everything was looking good for a little while, then had to get back in the hospital, and things got real scary. And it got to a point where and I wasn't going to do anything with this at all at that point. Um, but then now, finally back home for about a week now, and everything's gotten good, gotten better. It's getting better, and I can kind of, sort of, relax. But anyway, wanted to kind of give an update to another video that I wanted to touch base on. Um, I gotta take these glasses off. They're glaring too much when I'm looking at the camera. There was a video that I made, and that video was all about the Ameritron 1306. I gotta move this camera back. It's just too close. I'm gonna get a few complaints about wiggling and moving, but I don't care. But anyway, we had a issue that the Ameritron 1306 at the time, back when I made the other video, there was a issue with it not ever wanting to work on 10 meters. It's like I couldn't even get relatively close to the band. It wouldn't do it. And it was one of those things where I was just like, okay, just forget it. I won't even bother with 10 meters. Heck, it wouldn't even work on 12 meters. There was a fine line there. You could get in one little spot and it would work, but when you come down here close to 10, it didn't matter. It just was not going to operate on 10 meters. So, during a brief period of time, I wasn't on the radio for a while. There were some things going on. And I thought, well, it was one day I was free and I thought I'd get on the radio. So I go to plugging everything back up. When I say plugging things back up, I mean the power outlet, not all the coax and stuff. That was all exactly the way it was when it was operating phenomenally perfect, except for not operating on 10 meters. Well, I went to turn everything on, and the radio's set for 6 months. And that's how long this equipment's set. I now come back here even if I'm not even going to be back here, I come back here, power everything on, but I won't have no antenna switches on. I'll just let them run for a couple of hours. And I have left all of it on for 24 hours straight, and nothing be on here on the antennas. Kind of want to do that every once in a while. You want to keep that stuff, you want to keep those circuits active. You don't want to let them rest too long, because that can cause a problem too. That's just a fact. Those capacitors start to dry out, and they start losing their values and stuff. But anyway, back on topic, I tried to get my 1306 to start working, because when I got tuned up, I went to key up. I think I was putting about 15 watts in it, which should have been about 200 and something watts where I was at, and it never keyed the amp. Well, I thought, well, okay, we'll figure this out. And I got to testing everything, and I do mean I tested everything. I hooked it up to the FT101 on an RCA jack plug. I then, in turn, put it on the 590, and I did it both ways, with the control cable and with an RCA. And it never worked on this radio, and it never would key up on my FT101. I tried bypassing and just going straight from the radio and straight to the amp. I tried the other Kenwood. What's up, buddy? Getting better. At the beginning of this video, I do go into a little bit of details about that, but doing good. Appreciate that. And back to the topic on the 1306. The 1306, which you see is not here. There's another Kenwood 570 sitting here. And what happened is it was not operating on the 10 meter band, and it was just driving me nuts, because on the amp it said 10 to 160. When I bought it, the guy said 10 to 160 plus 6 meters. While that time went by, the stuff set for a while, then I seen that the relay would not click to make the amp operate. So I called Ameritron, and Ameritron told me to send it to them at the address they gave me. Well, that was the same week that everything went all to hell, so to speak. And I ended up letting 2 weeks go by that I couldn't mail it. I had it already ready, and I took and had to go to the hospital with the wife for the open heart surgery. And I'd been there for several days, and got to a point where I was like, you know, I need to go home. I need to take care of myself a little bit, take care of some things around the house. Well, in the process, I grabbed the box up, took it to the post office, got it mailed off. Well, 3 weeks went by. I seen on my email that somebody signed for it. It got there on time. So I waited about 2 weeks after that. Well, I called Ameritron's office every day, 3 times a day, sometimes 4, for about a week. Finally, I thought something's wrong. Maybe I've missed something. So I called a few streets down. It's not far away. MFJ. Come find out, the amp got there. Somebody did sign for it, and they loaded it up and took it to MFJ, because Ameritron is sort of their warehouse and business has closed. So Ameritron's closed. But the tech is still working there, and I think he's got another tech that's supposed to be working with him, and it's just them. And so everything going on with that, talking to him about all the issues and the problems and the things it was doing, and all the tests I did with the different radio equipment, and come find out, him putting everything together with what I'm telling him, he came to the conclusion, which I think he's dead on with his information. He seems very knowledgeable. I had to give him good credit for what he's talked about to me because he knows what he's doing. Um, the other guy, on the other hand, I think he specializes on the 1306s, which that will be a good thing too because you got two together working on it, and hopefully they can fix the relay that will not click. It will not click the amp on. Then in turn, get it to where the little coil in there for the 10-meter side is a little bit too much out of adjustment. So what they got to do is put it on a machine, transmit like basically on 10 meters, and they got to take that coil and either stretch it or compress it. And they'll get it to where the harmonics are a lot more feasible to work, so it'll actually work on 10 meters. Now, everybody always makes these comments about, well, the only reason why you want to operate on 10 meters is because you want to operate on 11 meters. I could care less about 11 meters. Just to be honest with you. What's up, JC? 11 meters sucks. I've been driving a truck for 35 years. I don't even have a 11 meter radio in my truck and would not have one. Because there's so much trash and cussing going on 11 meters, I don't want to hear all that. But the fact is I love to operate on the general class portion of 10 meters. And because of that, just because you tell certain people, well, I wish my amp would work on 10, and it don't, but it'll work everywhere else. It'll work on 6. It'll work on 15, 17, 20, 40, 75 and 80, 160, all that. Worked fine. It worked perfect. It did full legal operation of what that amp is supposed to be capable of doing. And it did not do it on 10, 12, and 17. No, 10 and 12. 10 and 12 is where it just gets bonkers. But 10, and you really had to go really high up the band just to get the amplifier to do anything. So, after I got in contact with somebody at Ameritron, and then we talked about all the things that I did to test it, and all the things that they know that they've run up on with the issues and the problems and the things that goes on with the amplifiers from, being in other people's hands. I got to get rid of that up there at the top screen. Come to the conclusion, it's more than likely and positively the relay in the amp. That's one. And the coil that sort of raises and lowers the harmonic. So when you're on a band, it has to stay within that coil's width or shortened. That coil needs to be moved. It's like a little spring. It just needs to be moved in or out to balance out the harmonic of it, basically the best way I can explain it to you without having something to draw on. They've got so many months of work down there right now that I'm probably looking, let's see, this is July. It's been down there since June. So that's June, July, August, September. It might be September or October before I ever even see that amplifier, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with that. Hey, I'm not going to complain. They're doing the best they can. He was sincerely honest about that, and I could tell by talking to him. It is what it is. As long as I can just see that 1306 setting back up here, and it'll just operate on all the bands, including 10, like it's advertised, I'll be fine. It was never a problem in the shack all this time. It was never a problem outside the shack. Even though in one of my previous videos, if you remember, I did have a touch of RF. I figured out later, after taking and putting all of these Faraday beads on everything, and I do mean I put a lot of Faraday beads on everything. There's Faraday beads right here, right here, right here, back there. And on the back of every single piece of coax, there's at least 1 to 3 pieces of ferrite beads on every jumper, both ends. Then when you get to the wall over here, it goes outside and goes through about 5 or 6 ferrite beads stacked, and then goes through a choke about that long. Like, kind of give you an example, outside my wall, I've got a bunch of these chokes. And these chokes are really, they're only for one thing. If you got an inverted V, you've gotten some kind of, especially one that ain't been built exactly right, or one that's not got good harmonics, or even if it does have good harmonics, if you're running any length of power, you need this in between the feed point of that wire antenna. And if it's hanging right here, in other words, you put a jumper on here about yay long, and then this would hang down from it. And then you'd put the end of your coax coming from your house to here. Well, when all that amplified power, the RF, goes out, it hits the coax. Well, if it hits this, it can't get on the coax and give you feedback. This right here has been one of the greatest lifesavers that I have ever had as far as operating radio. There is something else that I want to go over with you, though. Whenever you got your coax running outside and you got one of these and that wire's coming right out of the wall, and it's, you know, like I got it strapped to the side of the house, and then it goes down to the ground and goes underground and goes to the antenna. Right here, if you'll bear with me for a second, I'll get something here to show you. Okay. If you got this outside, and this is the coax that's going to your antenna, you got this on here, just like this. All right. Really good idea to do this if you haven't. Have you a 1-to-1 inline isolator. You can get these from W2DU. It's a 1-to-1 inline isolator, maxi balun type unnin. Now what that will do, it's like, say this is going in the house, just like this. These particular ones got drain plugs on both ends. You could literally put this thing going right up to your wall and let it stick out just like this right here if you wanted to. Make you a mount just outside your house, and maybe keep it tilted slightly so any moisture can get out. And then take that piece of coax that's coming down and put you a piece of copper wire that is, I'd say, 3/16 to 5/8 wide, braided, and lay it on here, and then slide you a radiator hose clamp right over the top of that, and then tighten it down really snug, and then tape it up, and then run that ground strap all the way down to the ground. And let's just say this is right here, is going down to the ground, and it's going across to hook up the antenna. You want this to be as close to the shack wall where it comes in. You want to put braided wire on this right here, and take a radiator hose clamp, heater hose clamp or some size, and clamp that strap to that. This would be going down. This is coming out of the shack. This would be going in the shack. That would go to your antenna. Run that ground strap the shortest distance possible straight to the ground, and hook it to a ground rod, 8 feet long too. If you have to, here's another little trick I can tell you. whenever you put your ground rod in the ground, all 8 feet of it has to be used. Okay? You can't be cutting them. I know these yahoos up here that build these houses and these electricians and stuff, and they cut them. They take a 8-foot ground rod and cut it in half. Just about every one of them does it. Nobody puts in 8-foot ground rods except people that put it in the correct way, which would probably be just me and a few handful of others. But point is you can take that and run that ground wire down straight to the ground rod. Any kind of stray RF that's out there in the air, what it'll do is where this would be going to the antenna right here, and this would be hooked to that isolator, and you'd have that strap on here and have it hose clamped to it, and then it'd go straight to the ground. If there is any RF static in the air of any kind, it'll get caught on that wire and it'll go to ground. It won't go up into the shack. So the line insulator on top, ground strap right here, run it straight to the ground. That removed a lot of trash, a lot of things that were causing problems. And those problems were not anything related at all to the 1306 having the problems that it was having in the first place. I just had a little proximity problem. The proximity is I got 100 foot by 160 feet out here, and I've got a tower sitting 27 feet from the corner of my house. I got another antenna that it was setting 30 feet from the house, but it was going that way. And then I had a wire running down the middle. So what I had is an antenna, tower, an antenna, vertical, and a wire running that way. Now they were about 16 feet apart in between the three of them. Well, they were coupling, and the coupling is what was causing my problems. I have since then unselfishly had to let the daggum R9 go and go to something else. So now my wire's down yonder going that way, and the beam and the other antenna is way over here. So they're far apart now. And I have not had no problems. Am I going to take all the beads out and take all of the other stuff out? No. I probably never will do that. And I'll tell you another reason why. Is all that time I was having problems with the little RF issues. Those were little tiny issues. Well, those little tiny issues were equaling out to the big issue that I had with the tuning coil inside the amplifier not being exactly in the right position to where it was stretched out or if it was in a little bit. And because of that, I kept doing all this other stuff until I got rid of all stray RF that was anywhere coming out of that radio equipment. So now that I have eliminated it to totally zero, when I do get the amplifier back and they get the new relay put in it, they tune the 10-meter spring coil to where it will actually resonate and not go wonkers and kick everything off. That's the reason why it's kicking everything off. Is that little old coil. So once they get that tuned and get that right, ship it back to me, hook it back up. I've already done all that stuff to remove any stray unwanted RF, static, whatever, anything. So that being said, I wouldn't change nothing I got. I got a great friend of mine who, I won't name no names, but Donald, you know who you are. You rock. You really rock. You got patience. I appreciate that. I really do. But what I was trying to say is every little itty bitty thing that I would do to solve a problem, whether it be with the tuner, the radio, the meter, another radio, where everything switched over. Oh, and another thing too, these little antenna switches right here. These are Delta 2. They're Delta 2 HF switches. You can literally like turn that off, turn that off, turn it off. You don't hear nothing. It breaks the circuit to the antennas. But the point is if you're running power and you got these little fuses in here for lightning protection, and you're running over 200 watts, or I'd say about 200, 250, you want to remove that fuse. I know you think, well, why buy that switch if, well, I keep it on, I'll keep a fuse in my UHF, VHF. I'll keep one in another one for the other equipment. But when it comes to the radio that I am running a big amplifier on, I've got that fuse removed because all it does is pop when there's a lightning strike or static charge, a heavy discharge. I found out that when I run the amplifier that it was arcing, and it would arc like a little welder, and it would just be sitting there just popping, little tiny little weak pops. It wouldn't be much. But then this right here, needle on this meter would be moving all the way up to about point, what is that? It goes from 2, this is your reflect, 2, 1.1.2, 0.8, 0.6, 0.4. It would jump all the way to 0.4 nearly, which is absolutely crazy. And I know some people may say, well, you want some stray RF. You can't get rid of stray RF. Yes, you can. You most definitely can. It takes patience. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of tracing, a lot of taking the time to test every single component, every jumper, making sure everything is properly grounded in the right places, make sure everything has got good tight connections, making sure everything is not crisscrossing over itself, make sure nothing ain't coupling outside. Then you got to start putting the ferrite beads on, and that just part of the hobby. You got to be able to just walk yourself through all these things, read and study these books, because it's to me it's a great hobby. I enjoy it. I miss it when I don't get to do it. I know I'm not even talking on the radio right now, but I'm just like, man, it's getting hot in here. Um, yeah, I think that once the amp comes back, they get all those issues and problems dealt with. I get it back in here and it operates like it's supposed to. I think I'm going to really enjoy everything because I've already done worked out every little kink and gremlin that there is to work out. So with that being said, I just think that everything in here is absolutely perfect. Just missing an amplifier. But at least we figured out what was wrong with the Ameritron amplifier. If you go back and watch the video, watch the highlights of the other one on the 1306, you'll kind of see where we were at. And watching this one, you'll learn what was really going on was not really what was going on. It was actually something else. And now that that's been figured out, I feel really confident that once everything is back up here, it's going to be awesome. It's just a simple fix. May take time to make the fix, to find the right point for the coil to be stretched inside the amp to where it'll resonate right on that band. But then once they do that, it should be no problem. Oh boy, that's 2 meter, that's 440. Let's see. Let's see here. We can find something here. I can't remember.
About everybody, this is the Kg4muk repeater,
Bavard. Ka-chunk by just about everybody. It's pretty cool. I forgot all about that one. That would be 146,610. That's 40 meters, 7195. And they're talking about different historic battles. And then we got
Kilo Tango 4 Romeo 5. Good afternoon, you're 5 and 7. Thank you, 73 Kilo Kilo Tango 4 Radio Florida. Again? Kilo Tango 4 Romeo 5. Kilo 1 Alpha Alpha Radio 5 and 9. Kilo 9 Alpha Alpha Radio 5 and 9. Alpha Echo 0 Juliet. Kilo Tango 4 Romeo Foxtrot.
Kilo Golf 4 Mike Uniform Kilo.
Kilo West 9. Kilo West 9. Kilo West 9 Okay, thank you for that. Whiskey Quebec 3 Papa, you 5 and 9. Okay, thank you for that. 3 Kilo Tango Mexico 1 3 Charlie Oscar Lima. Kilo Tango 4 Romeo Fox. Kilo Charlie 2 Whiskey Radio Papa, you 5 and 9. Kilo Charlie 3 Whiskey Radio Papa, Maestro Chai, you 5 and 9. Thank you for that. 3
Kilo Golf 4 Mike Uniform Kilo. Kilo Golf 4 Mike Uniform Kilo. Kilo Golf 4 Mike Uniform Kilo. Kilo Golf 4 Mike Uniform Kilo.
Thank you very much. You also 5 down in Texas. That's fine. Okay, thank you for the 1 star. Again?
Oh well, not always going to get somebody. Let's see. I don't know why I got a slightly high SWR on 20. Let's go to the high side of the band and see what it gives me. Ah, works there.
Roger. QSL, that's me down there. I've been trying to get you, but you're so noisy for me, and I couldn't hardly hear you. But I heard you in there. I just wanted to say good morning to you and have a safe day. Yeah, we got summer down here. It's over 90s, and the heat index is over 100. So, but you got a nice signal as always. Wow, that is crazy. Well, Wayne, I hope you're staying indoors and keeping cool. And being outdoors with the heat index of over 100, that's not very safe for your health. So, you know, and apparently, even if you're not thirsty, you got to drink water. So stay hydrated, even if you're not thirsty there, Wayne. But nice to work you today. The last time we spoke was in June.
Let's see who all's in here.
June. So it's been, I would say, almost a month now. And so, very, very nice to have you back in the log there, Wayne. Thanks a lot. The band is not in good shape at all, but nice to work you again today. And I really want to thank you. Kilo Golf 5, Romeo Echo Whiskey from Victor Echo number 2, Hotel Echo Charlie 73. Wayne, all the best. Bye bye. Doing pretty good, Tom. Good talking to you. So we'll look for you here next week. 85 hours. Enjoy your day. 73.
Well,
73. Bye bye.
I think I'm going to take a break from it
Okay,
for a little
last
bit.
station, last call. This is Victor Echo 2, Hotel Tango Charlie, looking for one last call before going QRP. Victor Echo 2, Hockey Team Canada, QRP.
Kilo Golf 4, my uniform Kilo.
Kilo Golf 4, uniform question mark.
Kilo Golf 4, Mike uniform Kilo. This is Kilo Golf 4, Mike uniform Kilo.
Kilo Golf 4, Mike question mark. Is it Mike India Alpha, Roger?
Uniform Kilo. Uniform Kilo.
Roger. Michael, thank you so much, and thanks for your patience. Kilo Golf 4, Mike uniform Kilo, Michael in Seneca, South Carolina. Roger.
Hey, Roger. Yep. I go by Wayne, but I don't know why that it's always been my first name. I guess it's just because of everything else that I do. I signed my full name, but I do go by Wayne. Yeah, that just sitting here going around the band and looking around, and I heard you say one last call. Thought I would try to swing it in there, and I was actually turning the beam about the same time I was trying to get back to you. So you say you're where at in Canada again? Over.
Yeah, Roger, Wayne. Kilo Golf 4, Mike Uniform Kilo, Victor Echo 2, Hotel Tango Charlie. The name again is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. My QTH is Montreal, the city of Montreal in the province of Quebec. QC, Montreal, Canada, right next to the international airport, Michael. And I got you at a 5x8 right now, 5859. QSL?
QSL, yeah, that's good. That's good business. That's I'm running a not a Kenwood. I got Kenwoods all around me, but I'm running a Yaesu FTDX 101D with a Heil Gold Elite microphone, running 100 watts, and I got 590s and 570s on a shelf that go all the way around it and surround it and all that good stuff. But yeah, we operate in just that, and I'm using a modified Cushcraft MA5. Let's see, what is that thing? MA5B antenna. But other than that, that's it at about 56 feet.
QSL, there, Wayne. Yeah, got you on all the equipment and 100 watts, the FPDX Delta, 101 Delta, the Chris-Craft. You're doing a spectacular job. I'm using the Yaesu FT991 Alpha, FT991 Alpha into an expert solid-state amplifier, putting out 800 watts right now into a 3-element Yagi, a very old antenna from 1979. It's the Wilson System 33. And that 3-element Yagi is about 45 feet in the air. You know, my last studio there, Wayne, I'm going to QRT here and get something to eat. But very nice to work you, and hopefully we can do it again in the near future. Kilo Golf 4, Mike Uniform Kilo, Victor Echo 2, Hotel Tango Charlie, 73. All the best to you.
All right, then. Well, you have a great evening, and if you want to check out your audio sound and all that, I got a video that'll upload to my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to check that out. It'll be right at the end of the YouTube video. Anyway, it's Outdoors with Kg4muk Wayne, but anyway, you can check that out if you like. Anyway, 73s to you. Have a great evening, and stay hydrated because it is sure enough hot out there today. Anyway, I'll say 73s to you. Hope you have a good evening. Talk to you later. Kg4muk.
73, Wayne, all the best to you. Bye-bye. Good luck. This is Victor Echo 2, Hotel Tango Charlie, going QRT.
Montreal, Canada. Alright. Well, we did that. That's not that far. Let's see here. Over here, a bit further across the band.
CQ13 calling, Kilo 2 Lima, South Carolina. Kilo 2 Lima, South Carolina. CQ13 calling, CQ13 calling, Kilo 2 Lima, South Carolina. Kilo 2 Lima, South Carolina.
I'm gonna figure out.
Alpha Charlie 1, Radio Hotel. QSL, I got you at a 5.9 as well. Just out of curiosity, how long does this event go on till? Like what day? Yeah, today, midnight today, I think. All right, excellent. Thank you, and 73. Oh, sorry, New Hampshire, New Hampshire.
Can't even hear him. He's probably no more than 100 miles away. It's too close to me.
In a couple minutes. CQ13 Colony, CQ13 Colony special event. Bravo, Kilo 2 Bravo, located in Virginia.
The yellow ones, they used to be my favorite.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's about all I'm going to do for today. Appreciate everybody that's been in there. Yeah, bands ain't really pumping like I want to, but anyway, if you watch the beginning of this video, you'll see that I kind of explained some things, went over some things, and all that good stuff. So anyway, y'all have yourself a super fine day. Catch y'all a little bit next time later on. Hope y'all have a good weekend, and we'll try to do it again next week. Y'all keep her straight. You be sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you next time. Remember how to turn this thing off.